Nah,
Dah, mulai ya. To present our group members. Udah ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from group 2, want to present material about clipping in morphology. Let me introduce our group. The member is Eva Suryati, Nur Mahdiah, Salsabila, Siti Nur Hasanah, Anissa Kinanti, Ella Yunita, and Sarah Alfi Muhammad Zikri. The first slide will be right by me. Tailoring is a way of creating new words in English. It involves shortening a longer word, usually reducing it to one syllable. Many examples are very informal or slang. Trimming, also known as truncation or shortening, is to form words by deleting certain fragments, exciting words with synonyms. Editing is different from abbreviation, which are based on the shortening of the written form of an exciting word or phrase. Rather than the oral form, clipping is also different from back form, which use morpheme rather than segments, and the meaning and part of speech of new words may be different from their source. According to Hans Marchand, clipping are not coined as words belonging to the core lexicon of a language. They originate as jargon or slang of an in-group, such as school, army, police, and the medical profession. For example, exam, examination, math, mathematics, and lab, laboratory, originate in school slang. Spec, speculation, and tick for ticket or credit in stock exchange slang, and vet for veteran, and cap for captain in army slang. Clipped from can pass into common usage when they are widely useful, becoming part of standard English, which most speakers would agree has happened with math, lab, exam, phone, fridge, and various other. When their usefulness is limited to narrower contexts, they remain outside the standard register. Many, such as mani and pedi for manicure and pedicure, make for microphone occupy a middle ground in which their appropriate register a subjective judgment, but succeeding decades tend to see them becoming more widely used. The second slide will be right by Eva. Eva, the screen is yours.
Okay, the reducing of element. The reducing element seen in mixing is even more apparent in a process described as clipping. This occurs when a word of more than one syllable, pecimial, is reduced to a shorter form, pex, usually starting with ordinary speech. The term gasoline is still used, but Most people talk about gas. Using the truth platform. Other common examples are advertising, brush brazier, taxis cabriole, condes, pens phonetic, flu influenza, forms, permanent webs, telephones, planes, and pubs, public houses. English speakers also like to cut each other names, as in Al, Ed, Liz, Mike, Ron, Sam, Sue, and Tom. There's got to be something about the educational environment that encourages clipping because so many words are omitted, such as in chemistry, exams, gym, lab, math, physics, police, prop, and typos. Certain types of subtraction, which are favored in Australian and British English, result in forms that are technically known as hypercoherence. In this process, the longer word is reduced to one syllable, then y or es at the end. This is the process that produces film, moving picture, and television, and he also produced Aussie, Australia, Barbie, Burbank, Bandar, Bookmare, Breaky, Breakfast, and Handkerchief. You can probably guess what a crazy press is. Next, some example of clipping include Pest Smile Packs, Advertisement Ad, Phonetic Fan, Influenza Flu, Public House, Pub, Examination Exam. The next material will be read by Siti Nur Hasanah.
Okay, what is clipping occurs? Clipping occurs whenever a word is shortened but nevertheless still retains its original meaning and belongs to the same word class. Clipping productivity is governed by the condition of derivatives phonologically well formed, with morpheme boundary cuts no longer being a requirement. This helps distinguish certain clipping products from back formation where such mechanism exists. This being said, with the use of language, one is more likely to derive cello from piolon cello rather than cells, since it does not represent a pronunciation that is common or even correct in the English language. Another principle that applies is the product of clipping must be either one or two syllables long. Also, first or primarily syllables are retained. It is the case refrigerator, turfide, advertisement, ad, penitentiary, pen. In some cases, the syllable structure may be altered. Examination because language tendency to adopt ways of expressing oneself in the most effective manner. That is conveyed as much meaning as possible in as little as possible. Product of clipping tend to gain ground in slang words, and become a tool used in relaxed, informal, everyday communication, which further solidifies their position in the language. Next slide will be read by Della.
Hmm. What also has been known to happen is once a product of clipping is derived, which may rattle with the relationship was derived from and because of so underdevelopment changes. It is contradicted to the rule of meaning retention and once again proves that what formation of stems targets with things that are uneasy to define. The example includes phonetic fan, brand wine, brandy, fan. This shows that this discrepancy between the derivatives can exist. which can be further proved by the example of phonetic fan, fanboy, firebird, phonetic and their compound member are semantically different from each other. Clipping types there are four types of possible clipping processes, depending on which part of the word undergoes structural changes, like clipping, temperature, temp, Rhino, rhinoceros, June, gymnasium, clipping, helicopter, copter, telephone, phone, plane, aeroplane, clipping is influenza, flu, refrigerator type, and clipping compounds, paratroper, parachute, stropper.
So the conclusion is what also has been known to happen is once a product of clipping is derived, it might rival with the lexeme it was derived from, and because of so undergo semantic change. This is contradictory to the rule of meaning retention, and once again proves that word formation often produce lexemes that are uneasy to define. The examples include fanatic to fun, brandywine to brandy, caravan to fun. This show that discrepancies between the derivative can exist, which can be further proved by the example of fanatic, fun, fanboy, where both fanatic and the compound fanboy are semantically distant from each other. Clipping types. There are four types of possible clipping process, depending on which part of the word undergoes structural change. Backclipping, temperature to temp, rhino to rhinoceros, gym to gymnasium, forklipping, helicopter to copter, telephone to phone, plane, aeroplane, mixed clipping, influenza in, influenza to flu, refrigerator to fridge, and clipping compounds, paratrooper to parachute and trooper. So we're at the end of the presentation. If you have any question, you can write them on Spada. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Udah selesai kan?
Waalaikumsalam.
Udah selesai kan?
Itunya diudahin aja tuh rekamannya.